I think it is a perfect transition to get into the novellas of Assassin's Blade because clearly, if you read Crown of Midnight, you know what happens. So I've mentioned it in previous videos. This is how I started this series is Assassin's Blade, Crown of Midnight, and now I am going back into the history of what led to the first two books and reading I think there's 4 novellas in this book. I'm not sure. I finished the first 2. I'm currently on the 3rd. To be honest, I don't know if this is controversial or not. Me and novellas, if I don't need to waste my time reading it, I'm not gonna. But I want to tell you about my first impressions with reading Assassin's Blade. I thought, wow, Selena has a temper on her. I was just like, what is up her ass? I was reading it from the perspective of like, I'm the big sister that she didn't ask for in Selena. If she were my little sister, I would be so annoyed with her just because of her attitude, her temper. Then I had to take a step back. I had to remind myself that she is navigating life with being an assassin, getting sent to all of these treacherous missions. She was raised by a person that is an assassin, so she probably learned his ways, and I don't know what type of leadership or example he was giving her, but if he was training her to be an assassin, probably not the best impression or example. And lastly, the thing that I have to keep reminding myself is she's 16. Do you remember when you were 16? Are you 16 right now? Oh my gosh. But I know that when I was 16, I was thinking that I was all of that in a bag of chips. That's what they used to say back in the day. But I really thought that I was the shit. I was like, I'm grown. I'm 16. I know better now. And that's exactly the type of energy that Selena puts out. And honestly, she backs it up. She knows what she has to bring to the table. Good for her. She should be able to express confidence. The next thing that I just kept thinking about is if I had started this series the other way that other people are reading it, which is starting in the correct timeline order, and that would be starting with Assassin's Blade. Knowing me, knowing who I am, this is just me personally, I know that I would have been really bored. It's not like as gripping as the first 2 books where you know that there's like a bigger picture to tell here. And then after reading Crown of Midnight, so much has happened from that book that I'm like, okay, let me just take a step back, and that's where we are. So hopefully you enjoy the rest of this video. I'll come back once I finish the last novella, the last 2 novellas. I have no idea, but I'll see you later. I keep falling asleep. It's so hard to stay awake reading this book. Did this book put me in a reading slump? Yeah, I think so, just a little bit. I really don't know why it took me this long to finish this book. My goodness, did this take me forever to read. I think this took me, I don't even know how long this took me to read, maybe like a week and a half, almost 2 weeks. For some reason, I just wasn't as connected and as engaged. Maybe because, you know, there's really only so much that novellas could do to keep your attention, have that gripping effect on you. Excuse me, can you tell? I'm under the weather. That's also possibly why it took me a long time to read, just because there was a lot of things that I had going on personally, and I'm also a little bit under the weather. I mean, I don't know. I think I would just give this like 3 stars. Again, novellas, there's really only so much that you could take from novellas, but what I will say is that I'm happy that I read it, because I mentioned in the first 2 videos that I made regarding the Throne of Glass series is that Celaena had a lot of mystery built around her. Right into it, when you read Throne of Glass, they don't really tell you much about what led her to where she is. You get a lot of those answered here in this book. You even have a better understanding of why her character has that sense of pride. In certain parts of this novel, Celaena came off to me a little bit arrogant, hot-tempered, impatient, all of those things, but then it's because you also get to know Arobynn, and Arobynn essentially is the person that raised her to become an assassin. I mean, ever since at the age of 8, I believe, you know, you raise someone to kill a lot of people, you get what you're gonna get. But then again, I am happy that I now have a clear picture as to what makes Celaena Celaena, and all of the character development that she went through to get to where she is today. In terms of the pros and cons of reading Assassin's Blade 3rd in this series, I just kept thinking to myself, like, if I had read this first, would I have been intrigued enough to pick up Throne of Glass and read the series? Truthfully, I would have said no. I think the answer is no. As I was reading this, I was just like a little bit, I wasn't interested. It didn't grip me for me to want to pick up the book. So I am still happy that I did read Throne of Glass first, Crown of Midnight second, and then this book third. But it's completely up to you. I think everyone has their own opinions, of course, and you're welcome to that and what the proper order it is. But regardless, I still rate it 3 stars. Still good, nothing significant. So I don't know if I'm going to continue reading the Throne of Glass series. For now, I might take a little bit of a break before I pick up the next book. I don't even know which one it is, but thank you so much for joining me in this video. I always appreciate you spending time with me. If you made it this far, please make sure that you like and subscribe to my channel. It really does help me out a lot. But until the next video, see you next time. Bye!